Hi, I just wanted to have a chat with you guys about my experience with Peter Adams' book VisualFestation and what changes have happened in my life. I first got introduced to Peter Adams listening to Constance Arnold. I found her show randomly on my podcasts on my iPhone, and this was 2 years ago. I was in an interesting space, a bit of a crossroads. I had to move home. I couldn't live where I was living anymore due to a variety of reasons. I couldn't work where I was working anymore, and I was in a long-term relationship that had ended in a really bad way. So I was trying to figure out where to go and what to do with myself, what now. Basically, I wasn't happy with anything in my life at that point, and I just knew I needed a change. And I listened to Peter Adams' interview, and I was very intrigued by the things that he said when he was discussing his book, so I decided to buy it. I bought the book, and straight away I was impacted by just his journey and everything that he did in his hour of power and how his life changed so drastically. And I thought, I don't have anything to lose to just try. I knew that I couldn't really commit to an hour of power, but I decided to implement some of the things that he talked about in terms of visualizing and making goals and having a vision board, which I did. I even emailed him asking him about how he did his mind movie, and just to get some clarification on that. Surprisingly, he replied me almost straight away and was really helpful. And I remember at the end of that email, he said, "I can't wait to hear about your manifestations." And I was just thinking to myself, he's a really nice guy, but I don't even know if this is going to work. I don't even know if I'm going to stick with it, what's going to happen. But basically 2 years later, I'm back at university studying a degree in actuarial science, which is something that was not on my mind, but has proved to be one of the best moves in my life. I wanted to study full-time, but I know that I knew I had a lot of bills that I had to take care of, so I needed a passive income because the degree has been quite challenging. I've managed to manifest a passive income in my life. My car was on the verge of breaking down. I knew any day it was going to break down, but I didn't really have the finances to buy a new car. I've manifested a brand new car in my life. 7 years free warranty, 7 years free roadside assist. I even had 12 months free registration, and they threw in free window tinting. I didn't have to pay for anything, and the car was gifted to me. I've manifested so many trips across Australia. I live in Australia, to Hunter Valley, to Barossa Valley, and I'm actually in the process, almost just finished manifesting a trip for my birthday coming up in September to Europe, which I've never been. And basically it was just a matter of implementing just little steps on what I learned from Peter, visualizing and just showing a lot of gratitude. I know that the turning point for me was gratitude. And also just when I read Peter's book and he talked about how he would really get into the feeling of a certain goal that he had, to the point where maybe it would just bring him to tears of joy and just being overwhelmed with gratitude. That's something that I really worked on. And it's just 5 minutes every day before I get out of bed. I will try and focus in on all my goals, or at least just one, and just try and get into the feeling of that, whether it's feeling loved, whether it's feeling the success of completing this degree. And I'm just a regular person who wasn't sure I could do it, who wasn't sure I would stick with it, who was just going to try something, but it's dramatically changed my life. And I am completely grateful to Peter for what he's done for me and for him sharing this message. Him and Constance Arnold, what they do is so important. So honestly, you have nothing to lose. It's just a little bit of time. If you don't have an hour, or you don't have the discipline for an hour of power, just choose, read the book, listen to listen to it on YouTube, and just choose one thing to focus in on for the next 6 months. And I promise you, I guarantee you, because I have experienced this, but your life will not be the same.